Hello and welcome back to another movie review here on the C Cinema Reviews channel. And today I'm pretty excited to talk about the movie for today's review. The Departed came out in 2006, starring a great cast of Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, and yeah, it's great. It's pretty great. That's the short version. Uh, Obviously directed by Martin Scorsese. Scorsese. Roast me in the comment section down below. I give you two options, okay, guys? Just pick one. Just pick the one that you want, or pick the one that's right. Anyway, before I get into it, I have to say, spoiler alert: there are some pretty big things that happen. So if you haven't seen The Departed, go ahead and watch that first, and then come back to this review because I will be spoiling the movie. So, yeah, subscribe and like the video if you find it enjoyable. Let's get into the review. So, The Departed. I gotta tell you that The Departed is one of those movies that you just can't talk about one aspect of the movie. Um, Now, to keep my review short, I'm not going to talk about every aspect that I thought was amazing or cool or interesting or very thought provoking. So, yeah, I'm going to try to condense my thoughts down because I do have a lot of thoughts. But it is not a one trick pony. So, what I really enjoy about it is that it does not rely on one person's performance. Like, I'm not gonna say that all of Martin Scorsese's stuff does that, but the one that I watched most recently, which was The King of Comedy, that one definitely relies on Robert De Niro's performance, and then Taxi Driver definitely relies heavily on Robert De Niro's performance. This movie has such a good cast, and uh, each character is so important and so fleshed out. This movie has layers upon layers, and that's not a cliche because at the end of the movie we realize that there are rats everywhere, and I'm not talking about rats, the animal. I'm, the and you know what I mean. You've seen the movie. You know exactly what I mean. And they're not all quote unquote bad rats, and that's the cool thing about it. Um, during the movie, where like you find so many deep and rich characters. Like I'm talking like oceanic type deep, and that's something that you don't get all the time. Everyone from Leo to the owners of the store that Jack Nicholson gets money from. You can find great performances and just well thought out characters. But man, it's hard for me to think of a better movie that I've seen recently. Uh, in really in a long time, to be honest. In my opinion, the most underrated thing in the movie is the very amazing and at the same time disturbing soundtrack. It reminds me very much of some of the stuff that Tarantino does, where he takes these songs that just they mean one thing when you just listen to them, but when you listen to them in the context and in the background of what's going on the screen in this movie in particular, the songs just it take on a different meaning, and that's really cool. Just adding to the layers that this movie has. Uh, but like in my opinion, I think that this is very much like The Godfather, whereas in The Godfather it was kind of Marlon Brando. It was him like coming back to those really heavy, deep, rich roles that you see him in his earlier work, and it was like kind of his last hurrah as far as like really great movies, and that's the same thing in this movie for Jack Nicholson. Uh, this is, probably his last great film. I'm not sure if he had any other great films that came out after 2006, but this one, man, like this one is not. This one is nothing to be ashamed about. If like your last great movie is The Departed, I think Jack Nicholson is totally fine with his performance and the movie overall. I don't believe that there is like a more intense movie. It's pretty awesome. Um, I think that Martin Scorsese himself, Scorsese, I think that he himself hasn't made, at least I haven't seen one of his movies that is more uh, tense and just crazy tension throughout the entire movie. There's like it's amazing because you have this, it's really a cat and mouse thing, and again the rats like that, it is very much apparent. I mean, even they even show a rat on the railing at the very end of the movie, so they know it's kind of heavy handed as far as the layers and the rats and everything like that. So it's very cat and mouse, the movie, where you have Leonardo DiCaprio, Leonard, where you have Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Billy, who is the good rat, and then you have Matt Damon's character, who is the bad rat. Um, and it is such a cat and mouse with them trying to find each other, trying to figure out which one or who the other person is, and who's the rat inside of Jack Nicholson's gang, who's the rat inside of the police department, and then the fact that at the end, like the end is where everything just kind of comes to a head, and that's super cool. That like they kept it on a string, they kept it on the very tight rope. It's like, okay, we're gonna keep them searching for each other. We're gonna keep them, getting so close to finding out who the other person is, but not getting there until the poop hits the fan, and it's great. It's Martin Scorsese knows how to throw poop at a fan. I'll give you that. That sounded very weird. Yeah, but he's great, and just the the fact that everyone dies. Like, spoiler alert, I told you this earlier, but the fact that everyone dies was so I wouldn't say original, because like, whatever, people have died in movies before. The good guys have died, the bad guys have died, but the fact that like everyone dies, and it's not just everyone dies because like, one shoots the other person, and then in that person's dying breath they shoot the person back. No, you have the layers. Again, it goes back to the layers of the rats, where Leonardo DiCaprio gets shot by a policeman who is actually working for Jack Nicholson's character, and then Matt Damon shoots that policeman. Uh, for some reason, I think that Matt Damon at the end of this, his character wanted to go straight at the end of this, but then the ending scene, which was so smart, so smart in that Matt Damon, as soon as he sees Mark Wahlberg, he gets it. He understands it, and he accepts it, and that's like, he doesn't try to fight. There's no struggle. It's just an inevitable thing, and that is something that is, to me, very smart filmmaking by Mr. Martin. Can I be on first name basis so I don't have to say his last name twice? Mr. Martin. That is such smart filmmaking. Just having the character realize what happened and accept it, because if you tried to fight, he's not gonna go all Jason Bourne on the guy. The guy's a policeman. He's gonna hit that shot. So yeah, I will say that it's kind of heavy-handed at the end with the rat on the railing. Um, but it's not one of those things where it's like I'm gonna roll my eyes at Martin and be like, okay, Martin, we get it. We've heard so much about rats, and you're literally showing us a rat. Like, I'm not gonna do that, because it's his film. He made, a truly great film up until that point, and that scene, or that sequence of the rat, doesn't take away from the previous, I think it's like 2.5 hours of it. So yeah, to for someone, I would never roll my eyes at a scene like that, because it's like, okay, he's letting those casual viewers who don't get it, he's letting them know. And it's, that's not a scene for those of us who are like, okay, yeah, I get it. Layers, rats, good rats, bad rats, you're just an animal at that point. um yeah, it was super fine. It didn't ruin the movie, it didn't make me roll my eyes. I thought that it's his movie, he did a great movie, why not put a scene with a rat? I mean, it's Martin. You gonna tell him no? I don't think so. But yeah, one of the things that I found that was one of potentially the smartest things in a movie that I've seen in a long time was making Matt Damon a bad person. Or not making him, but having him play the role of a bad person. It reminds me very much of Tom Cruise when he did Collateral with Jamie Foxx, where he was the villain. He was a bad person, because you have these two guys, and Matt Damon and Tom Cruise, who they're not bad people, but having them play the villains, for just one role, it made me realize in both of these instances that not that yeah, they're action stars, they are good actors, they're good guys, but they are actors, so they can do the villainous part. They can, and it's not just being a mustache twirling villain. For both of them, they both are. They have layers to the character, especially Matt Damon's character. With the first scene that we get, where Jack Nicholson's character really takes him in, gives him food, gives him a comic book, tells him, "Hey, you want to make some extra money? Come by my place. I'll get you some extra money, or I'll put you to work so you can make some extra." Like, that is how you do things. If someone is nice to you when you're young and growing up, it is only obvious, and it's totally understandable that Matt Damon's character would follow him, because that dude helped you. That dude, gave you a job. That man, Jack Nicholson, helped Matt Damon's character in so many ways. It would make sense that he would be loyal. It was a great thing to see Matt Damon play a villain character, a bad character. It was just like, and just it showed me that Matt Damon himself he's not just, he's a great actor. He's not one of those. He's not a person that is just a good guy. He's an actor, so he can do. Turn that off. He can do anything that's in the role, and that's something that's very important. And Martin, again, super super smart filmmaking. Bringing this review to a close, I believe that this is a great movie. I think that you should definitely Blu-ray this movie. I think that there is no reason for anyone over the age of 18 to not see this movie. I think that there is every reason to see this movie. Great acting by everyone, literally everyone, from top to bottom. Great storytelling, great suspense. If you like thrillers, this is a thriller. The cat and mouse game is afoot, and it is glorious to behold. Probably Jack Nicholson's last great performance. I, again, haven't seen much of the stuff after 2006, but this is a great performance out of him. Leonardo DiCaprio just brings it as always, and Matt Damon in a role that you don't normally see. You don't ever see. I think it's Matt Damon's like only villainous role, which is pretty cool to see. Great acting. Great storytelling, great filmmaking. Mark Wahlberg not playing a meathead. That is something that I am very, very happy to see. Mark Wahlberg not playing a meathead. Mark Wahlberg doing a really, really good job in acting. And that's not something you say, or you hear me say all the time. But yeah, definitely recommend this movie to anybody and everybody. It's just one of those movies, you guys. That's it for my review of the movie. I thank you very much for watching the my review of the movie. I hope that you found it amusing, enjoyable, and I do hope that you would tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Either there, or we do have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ccinemareviews page. That link's in the description, and we're also on Twitter at ccinemareviews. That link is also in the description. So tell me your thoughts whenever and wherever you want. And if you want, tell me a movie you would like for me to review in the future. I usually take most of my like classic movies. I usually take them from the years previous to the year 2000, so 1999 and backwards. But it's The Departed. It's Martin. Okay, that's just how it goes.